All right, please call the roll.
This is a roll call for House Education, February 20th. Representative Bratton,
Excused.
Representative Erickson,
Here.
Representative Guggenmoss,
Here.
Representative Kelly,
Excused.
Representative Lawley,
Excused.
Representative Singh,
Here.
Representative Strzok,
Here.
Representative Williams,
Here.
Chairman Andrew.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. House Bill. No, we've switched. Senate File 18 is now on the table for our consideration. Representative Guggenmoss, would you please explain the bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm bringing to you Senate File 18. And this is kind of a bill that clarifies in our statutes that homeschoolers will have access, part-time access enrollment to public schools. It just kind of clarifies that because that came into question. So just clarifying that point. It looks like it adds a subsection C on page 3, designating a parent, guardian, or other person having control or charge of any child eligible to attend public school in Wyoming under subsection A of this section shall have the option to apply for the ESA program specified by the Wyoming Statute 21-2-901 on behalf of the child. So it's just primarily a bill of clarification so that this does not become an issue in the future.
Thank you, Representative Guggenmoss. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'll make one clarification that this bill pertains only to homeschoolers not on an ESA. If they're on an ESA, something completely different happens, but this clarifies their right to access as a traditional homeschooler. I will now open it up to comment with the Department of Education. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Nish Goikolea, Wyoming Department of Education, here on behalf of Superintendent Degenfelder, who is in support of this bill. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now open up public testimony. Is there anyone in the room who'd like to comment on this bill? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Patricia McCoy. I'm speaking on behalf of the Moms for Liberty Wyoming chapters across the state. We support Senate File 18. We appreciate the legislature's effort to ensure that Wyoming public schools remain open and accessible to all children who live in our communities, including students whose families have chosen alternative educational pathways. Across our state, families make thoughtful decisions on how their children are educated. Some choose traditional full-time education enrollment, while others combine homeschooling, online learning, or private instruction with select public school courses. These decisions reflect the parent's responsibility to direct the education of their child. Regardless of how they choose to educate their children, they should still remain a child of that district. We support the bill's intent to reinforce equal access. To ensure this principle is applied consistently across Wyoming, we respectfully recommend a clarifying amendment stating that resident students are eligible to participate regardless of fractional enrollment. Currently written, Senate File 18 may be interpreted alongside existing enrollment thresholds, which could unintentionally exclude students enrolled on a quarter or less than half-time. The clear statutory language will help ensure that families across Wyoming are treated fairly and consistently. We thank you for your consideration of this bill and hope that you will pass it. But I did provide that amendment if you guys would like me to read that for you.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Our recommendation is to amend page 2, line 7 of the bill, subsection A, after subject to regulations of the Board of Trustees, insert the following sentence. For purposes of this subsection, a child who is a resident of the district shall not be denied access to public school courses or activities solely on the basis of part-time or fractional enrollment status. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any further public testimony in the room? Seeing none, we have a couple online. Is anyone available?
Currently, Mr. Chairman, nobody is signed in.
Nobody has signed in. All right, we will close public testimony. Did anyone have questions for Ms. McCoy? I forgot to ask. All right. All right, public testimony is now closed. Committee, what is your pleasure? Moved by Representative Strock, seconded by Representative Guggenmoss. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was wondering if I could hear from the department on this proposed amendment on page 2, line 7, if they had any thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, Representative Singh. I haven't had a chance to review it yet, so I'm not comfortable making a comment because there are probably could be implications with ADM and other things that I'd want to review before stating anything.
Thank you. Any questions? Further questions? Seeing none. Is there any further discussion from the committee? Representative Strock.
Thank you, Chairman. The only thing I was going to comment on, it's something I felt like if on this amendment, we could spend a little time just after they've had time to review it and then bring it back on if it's something that's good or, bring it back on the first reading or second reading. Okay.
Any further discussion? I would agree. I feel like I would like to know why the bill, I guess, is not. I think it already does this. I think activities is actually a different bill, which we have moved through our side of the legislature. So I think, yeah, I too would like to have a discussion after the meeting. All right. Question having been called, we are voting on Senate file. I'm not going to get used to that. 18. Please call the roll.
This is a roll call vote for Senate File 18. Representative Braden,
Excuse.
Representative Erickson,
Aye.
Representative Guggenmoss.
Aye.
Representative Kelly,
Excused.
Representative Lawley,
Excused.
Representative Singh.
Aye.
Representative Strock,
Aye.
Representative Williams,
Aye.
Chairman Andrew.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 6 ayes and 3 excused.
Thank you. Senate File 18 has passed the committee. Senate File 36 is now on the table for our consideration. Representative Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce the Senate file number 36, Hathaway Lump Sum Merit Scholarship. Worked this over in the interim and feel like it was good work. Brought a lot of different opinions and perspectives in, but we recognize that the amount is not keeping up with the costs. And so that was one of the major things that I remember and was very adamant about making sure that I supported. I think that's a good thing to go to, and increases just in those categories to $6,720, 10,080, 13,440.
Representative Erickson,
Sorry.
I apologize, but I think that we are on a different Hathaway bill. It was the
Oh.
we're if I did
Sorry.
them out of order, I apologize, but
Yep.
I read in the lump sum one.
Go ahead. I run my own off and ended up with the wrong one at the first, so I I apologize for that. So jump in anytime. Let's go ahead and do the 47, Senate File 47, increase of Hathaway Scholarship Awards.
Senate
Right.
File
36.
Yeah, 36 is the lump sum merit scholarship.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to go ahead and take over that introduction of that?
Of the lump sum? Sure, I
Yeah.
can do that.
What did I-
All right, so Senate File 36, the Hathaway lump sum scholarship is something that we worked on through the interim. Some of the concern that this bill is trying to solve is that you get the Hathaway incrementally throughout your college career. And that possibly puts some students in a situation where they are running up more student loans for longer. And the committee found that it may be beneficial for students who have earned their Hathaway dollars to get those dollars all at once in the beginning in order to pay for their full tuition and fees and expenses early on. So they're carrying those student loan notes for less amount of time. And for that reason, paying less interest expense over the term of their college career. So this bill simply allows for that to happen, for students to be able to pay whatever expenses that are allowed by to be paid for by the Hathaway currently, and do it all right at the beginning. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I will open it up to public testimony with the Department of Education. Like to comment on this bill? No. Any other state departments? I don't see any. Oh no, I don't see any comments. We will open it up to public testimony. Would anyone like to speak for or against this bill? Good afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Kelsey Cooper. I'm an ASUW senator at the University of Wyoming. And as a senator, I represent all of the students who attend the University of Wyoming. And this bill would be incredibly helpful. I think the idea of this bill is to create a sum of the Hathaway rather than saying you can only have the Hathaway for 8 semesters. So this would open up opportunities for Wyoming residents to use the Hathaway during what we call the January term, which is winter break, and then also during our summer term. Furthermore, it'll open up opportunities for internships and study abroads. So this bill really just opens a lot of doors for students that were previously closed. So I stand for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? All right, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Is there any further public testimony on the bill? Ms. McCoy.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the committee, my name is Patricia McCoy, and I'm representing the Wyoming chapters of Moms for Liberty on this bill. The Hathaway Scholarship Program was originally structured as a merit-based initiative. Students qualified through academic benchmarks, and importantly, they were required to maintain satisfactory academic progress in order to continue to receive those funds. That structure reflected an understanding that public investment should be tied to continued performance. Senate File 36 seems to shift that framework, removing several ongoing progress requirements and allowing remaining scholarship funds to be accessed with fewer academic guardrails in place. Merit-based programs are strongest when they reinforce sustained effort and measurable progress, not simply the entry standards. Because this program is discretionary, maintaining those standards tied to continued funding is especially important. The guardrails protect both students and taxpayers. They signal that scholarship dollars are connected to meaningful education advancement. We are concerned that reducing those continuing requirements changes the character of the program. It shifts Hathaway from being a performance-based scholarship towards something closer to a general entitlement. We respectfully urge the committee to carefully consider whether removing ongoing academic benchmarks aligns with the original purpose of the program and with responsible stewardship of public funds. If the committee chooses to move forward with reducing current continuing progress requirements, we would respectfully recommend preserving accountability in two specific ways. First, continued eligibility could be aligned with institutional satisfactory academic progress standards as already defined for federal financial aid. And second, disbursement of any remaining scholarship funds could be conditioned upon certification that the student is making measurable progress towards completion of a degree or certificate program. These approaches would maintain flexibility while preserving the performance-based character of the Hathaway program. I did submit some amendment recommendations. You guys can read through, take to the floor if you need to. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any further public testimony in the room? Seeing none, has anyone logged in online? All right, we will close public testimony. Committee, what is your pleasure? Moved by Representative Strock. Seconded by Representative Erickson, I think. Oh, Representative Williams. Is there any discussion or amendments? Seeing none. Sensing we're ready for the question. Oh, Representative Strock.
Thank you, Chairman. I was just wondering, have we taken out things out of here that we would need this? I didn't realize we.
The
had
amendment.
Yeah, I didn't realize, have we taken things out? They would still have to do all this, wouldn't they?
To be honest, Representative Strock, I haven't had time to go through this amendment. I'll take a second to read it if we want.
Or I guess we can do the same thing I suggested last time and really look at
We
it.
might need to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so never mind. I
Okay,
forget, like, asking questions.
further discussion. Seeing none. We are voting on Senate File 36. Please call the roll.
This is a roll call vote for Senate File 36. Representative Braden,
Aye.
Representative Erickson.
Aye.
Representative Guggenmoss,
Aye.
Representative Kelly,
Excused.
Representative Lawley,
Excused.
Representative Singh,
No.
Representative Strock,
Aye.
Representative Williams. Chairman Andrew.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 6 ayes, 1 no, 2 excused.
Senate File 36 has passed the committee. Senate File 47 is now on the table for our consideration. Representative Erickson.
Mr. Chair, I'd ask you to do that again because my notes were completely backwards. And so can you introduce this one also?
I can,
My-
yes.
Sorry about
Oh,
that.
no, that's
I wrote
okay.
the completely wrong set
It
of
is
notes.
entirely my fault. I asked you to do this
No, that's my
with
my
far
bad.
too little notice, so I'll explain. Senate File 47 is simply an increase in the Hathaway Scholarship. Each of the different scholarships has been increased. It has been a very long time since we have increased the Hathaway Scholarship, and the tuition that students are having to pay has increased significantly during that time period. So the committee thought that it was appropriate to finally grant an increase. The Hathaway Scholarship account has been growing significantly, so that we believe that the funds are there to make this increase. Are there any questions? Seeing none, open it up to testimony. Does the department
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Nish Goikolea, Wyoming Department of Education, and I'm joined by Bradley Barker, our Hathaway consultant with the Department of Education. And on behalf of Superintendent Degenfelder, we stand in support of this bill.
Thank you.
Open up for any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Any other state agencies or departments? Seeing none, I will open it up to public testimony. Does anybody in the room have testimony on this bill? Good afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, hi again. My name is Kelsey Cooper. I'm a senator at the ASUW at the University of Wyoming. We came in November and testified about this bill to the Joint Committee. And I'd like to reiterate some of those points and then also remind you that you have the resolution that ASUW wrote about these bills. So the honors tier Hathaway of the scholarship used to cover about 91% of UW tuition, but now it only covers about 40%. And in 2006, when it was originally implemented, UW tuitions and fees were about $3,500. But in 2025, the fees are $8,246, which is a 134% increase. So increasing this Hathaway scholarship would be incredibly helpful. And I'd like to offer a personal anecdote, if I may.
Yes.
I worked incredibly hard to get the Hathaway scholarship. I spent hours after school with my teachers, and I took the ACT 4 or 5 times just so that I would be able to get the highest tier of the Hathaway. So I want to say that a lot of students did the same thing as I did, and increasing this scholarship can create an incentive to have students reach for the highest tier that they possibly can. So I stand for any questions.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. I really appreciate the personal testimony and experience of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Clark Fairbanks. I'm the director of Wyoming Youth Services Association and stand in support of this. As I look at the young adults, the youth and young adults that we work with across the nonprofit youth service agencies, many of them have little or no family support. And so the thought of them attending our community colleges and our University of Wyoming, the increase in the Hathaway Scholarship would certainly be beneficial to those students achieving their goals and continuing their education. So I appreciate your consideration of this and would stand for any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Mike Smith with the University of Wyoming. I just want to add our strong support for the bill and thank the committee for all your work over the interim on this really important thing to keep students out of debt as much as possible and make college and the university more accessible. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Further public test. Representative Harshman. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Please go ahead.
can I thank you? First of all, really my appreciation for you bringing this bill. It's a joint bill, really needed. It's been long overdue. We've tried different times, have been unsuccessful to increase this. Part of this, we had to fix the reserve account tip because it always happened July 1st. And then bills out of the Hathaway would happen about October and then February. And July 1st, we'd always tip the reserve account in the corpus, and then we'd have to come back and borrow from the reserve account. And it gave the impression that the fund was going broke. So now all we did is move that statutory tip from July 1st to November after the first payments are done. And so now it gives you an accurate picture of how the fund is doing. You can see it's doing very, very well. It's started at 405 million. It's nearly doubled. So I just want to go back and it was literally, Bill Schilling, who used to run the Wyoming Business Alliance, right? And this was a item and we were all talking about this. And this was '04. You know, Jonah gas is going, coal bed methane is taking off. Our coal is really starting to take off. And we just come through this 80s and 90s in Wyoming. And you guys who were here, it was tough. And we started, you know, saving more in the permit fund. We built a lot of buildings. We did a lot for our schools. And part of this, it was excess federal mineral royalties that would have went to K-12 education. We tipped them into the Hathaway and the endowed professor accounts. Charlie Scott wanted the endowed professors. I wanted the Hathaway, the merit scholarship. And so we agreed, amended the bill, and it went forward. Okay. The whole idea was really modeled off Louisiana's Taylor Opportunity Scholarship. Private citizen, saw these poor kids in New Orleans, and he said, hey, what if I was to pay for you to go to college? Would you get better grade? You know, and so he kind of took this experimental group of kids, boom, their scores went up. They worked harder in school and funded it. Now that's become a program. And the whole idea was if you could do the top level, the honors in our case, 100% of tuition. If you're in the middle level, 75. And if you were at that opportunity, there was 50%. We'd pay of tuition. And I know you've got this sheet and it's really got the gold part is the sheet that shows tuition and fees. And it's a bigger number, obviously. It's like at UW, it's $8,200. And really what we were always looking at, we can't really control fees, and different classes charge more fees. And so it was always tuition at our university. And so that's $5,400 currently. And so I asked LSO Matt Wilmarth to run the numbers. What if we could catch back up and do 100, 75, and 50, and what would that look like? And I circled those numbers, and this is the brown. The second half of the sheet is just what I'm talking about, is tuition at the University of Wyoming. And you can see the honors where this bill proposes, which is great. The bill's great. I mean, but this then go down where I circled the second circle on honors at 5,400, that's 100%. Right? And then as you move over to performance, you can see where the bill's at, 3,500, 75% would be 4,050. Does this make any sense? Let me know. I usually, as a teacher, you check for understanding. I'm say, okay, nod to me if I'm making it, because, or I'll repeat myself 7 times. You know that story. Okay. And then the opportunity where this bill is at and where 50% would be at. And so then the numbers on that come out to about a $25 million spend, and which we've been making 25 plus on the Hathaway. Last year was 40, and there's 70 million in the reserve account now, and that it's gone over the 8% level. So some of that'll tip back, but there's 50 million in the reserve account that we won't even touch unless we have a 0 return year. And so you basically got 2 years to fund this. So, so it's really, I think, fits the numbers very well. And I just think it'd be awesome for the 68th to kind of do the reset on this. This is where we started in '06 at 175 and 50. And we've had a lot of good times, but then we've had some tough times, you know, for 5, 6 years of that. And this bill has just never made it. So again, I'm really appreciative. And I'd just like to take this bill from good to great, man, and get us restarted and kind of reset that history. And particularly a lot of you newer, younger members, because us folks are getting long in the tooth, man. We're not going to be around here much longer. We want you to carry this forward and pass it on to the next generation as well. So anyway, that would be my proposal for an amendment when you get to work the bill, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for your indulgence. Appreciate you holding this.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Oh, Representative Williams. We have one.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Harshman, nice try on the escape, but state your amendment to me, just your, was that to fund it to 100%? Please.
Representative Harshman.
Mr. Chairman, so The amendment then would be to fund the 3 levels of scholarship, honors, performance, and opportunity at 100, 75, and 50% of the current UW tuition. So it wouldn't be a sliding scale, because then you're motivating the university to just keep raising their tuition and we'll follow it. No, this would be a fixed number in statute, and it'd have to be future legislatures to raise that. And I think this is good because it keeps the pressure on the university too, to everybody knows where that marker's at and to not raise tuition. So did that answer your question?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you. Any further public testimony in the room? I'm assuming still not online. All right, public testimony is closed. Committee, what is your pleasure? Moved by Representative Singh, seconded by Representative Guggenmoss. Is there any discussion or amendments on the bill? I think we're thinking about it. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the amendment suggestion we just had, and I propose that amendment as stated by Representative Harshman.
Do we have a second? Representative Guggenmoss. Any discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am interested in the amendment, and I would be willing to entertain it during committee of the whole. I'm not sure if I'm prepared to support it just because of the financial change that it may bring to the bill itself. Thank you.
Further discussion. Representative Braden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I echo the sentiments of the good representative. We worked this bill pretty hard over the interim, and but I don't feel, I am also interested in this and the possibility of a cap to the tuition increases, by setting a benchmark, but would want to evaluate the financials on that. I know there were some questions raised with the finance people on this and some other issues during the interim. So would definitely want to go through some of those numbers before making a decision, but very interesting. So thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Representative Guggenmoss.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I second it because I definitely want this conversation, whether it's here in committee or on the floor, but I definitely want to have the conversation. Yep.
All right. Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, we are voting on the amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, no?
No.
Amendment has not been adopted. I'm pretty sure that was exactly half and half. All right, further discussion or amendments? Question having been called, we are voting on Senate File 47. Please call the roll.
This is a roll call vote for Senate File 47. Representative Braden,
Aye.
Representative Erickson,
Aye.
Representative Guggenmoss,
Aye.
Representative Kelly,
Excused.
Representative Lawley,
Excused.
Representative Singh,
Aye.
Representative Strzok,
Aye.
Representative Williams,
Aye.
Chairman Andrew.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 7 ayes, 2 excused.
Senate File 47 has passed the committee, and with that, we are adjourned.
Well done.
Wow, that's very